It's Tuesday, May 19th. I've done a couple very short rides on this motorcycle since I had my incident on I-5. I have changed out the brake lever to the original one, which I think probably solved most of the problem, but I also went ahead and replaced the brake fluid. Made sure it was not over full. You can see right there. Again, it's tilted down. If I rotated it back up, which I did to fill it, you'd see that it's in between the low and the high. And it was over full before. The thing is, it had been that way for as long as I've owned the bike, so I still think it was the brake lever that caused the problem, which I've rectified. I'm going to try to repeat that ride that I attempted, so I'm going to go down I-5 to the Castella exit, which takes you by Castle Craigs, and take that FR25 and turn right on FR26 and go all the way around and eventually come back WA Bar to home. But when I get on the interstate today, I'm going to ride to the first exit, pull off, and just kind of feel the brakes, just see how hot they seem. On little short rides I've taken, I've been doing that too, and the brakes have been quite cool. Now I'm not actually touching the rotor, but just the caliper on the outside there, seeing if it feels heated up, and it hasn't. So I've got a little app called Tune ECU, which I use to reset the service interval on this bike when I do an oil change, which I've done twice now. And you can also use that to check your error codes, and also use it to, when you change your brake fluid, clear the old brake fluid out of your little ABS reservoir, which I did. Right now the brakes feel good. At some point though, you got to bite the bullet and try it. And again, I posted that video about what happened on I-5. Got lots of comments, and the general consensus was that, and I mean kind of the only consensus was, that the aftermarket brake lever I put on was putting a little too much pressure on the front brake, where you couldn't feel it dragging, but it was overheated and then jammed on the front brakes. Like I say, I've got the original lever back on, and some people said, well, you may have cooked the brake fluid, and on top of which, I've had the bike 2.5 years, a little over, and I've never changed it. And I have no idea if it's ever been changed. So anyway, brake fluid is now fresh. So okay, I'm probably doing 65, that's the speed limit. Speedometer shows 72, but it's always 5 miles an hour optimistic. So I'm going to peel off at this first exit. Just stop and just put a hand on the outside of the brake calipers and see if they feel hot. Okay, Mott Road, that's the first exit. I'm going to take it. Of course, I'm going to use the brakes to stop up here, but the short rides I've taken, I've obviously used the brakes some too, and again, the outside of the calipers were still fairly cool. Not feeling hot. So I'm using the front brake some right now. Nice spot to stop right here. First check. I hope they feel cool. If they don't, I don't know. I mean, brakes are going to heat up, so I'm just using them. Well, I wouldn't call them ice cold, but just a slight little bit of warmth, which would not be unexpected. I stopped 5 or 6 times on this ride just to stretch, look around, and every time I did, I checked the calipers, and they were always like air temperature. They weren't hot at all. I'm not going to show all those times. It gets a little bit old. So I'm just going to stay in this lane. I don't really feel like I have to go 70. If I make it all the way to where I want to turn off here and the brakes seem okay, then I think it probably would have been okay going 70 also. Now this would be ugly. They jam on here in this one-laner on the interstate. Yaha. Well, I made it through the interstate part of the ride. The rest of the ride's going to be a lot slower, which you would think would be less likely to overheat brakes. Of course, I'll be using the brakes more too. Lots of twisties. Oh, well, there the cracks are. Look back at them from here. Just get a quick look at them. They are impressive. Oh, and it'd be kind of a pain to come out this far on the KLX, but someday I've got to, just to kind of check out a lot of those dirt roads, like that one I just went past. I wouldn't do the interstate. I think I would just take it all the way around the other direction, FR 26 to 25. Oh, so many of these little forest roads you see cutting off in one way or the other. They're so steep with lots of loose rock on them. Well, that was a steeply descending little forest road to my left I just went past. That's the kind of thing I wouldn't want to just ride down without maybe getting off and walking it first. You'd be scared you wouldn't be able to get back up. Wonder where they are. Wonder what they're doing. Got to say, a convertible would be a nice car to take up this road. My two-door Rubicon that I had, it was an 06. I bought it in 09, but the entire time I owned it, I just kept the soft top on. And most of the time, would leave the soft top up, but have the side windows and the back window out, which really gave you a nice open air feeling, and if it rained, you were protected. And if I took it up on those, they're basically just OHV roads, kind of in that Uray, Silverton, Telluride area. I would drive it around in that area quite a bit when I lived there. I would just put the top down all the way and then just be a pure convertible. Of course, that was always at slow speeds. And now I'm on to FR 26. If I wanted that FR 25, and I think there's some other forest roads out around here, I could take it all the way over to Highway 3. I just don't really want to do it on the Tiger. And that's a long ride on the KLX. "61 degrees, came up quite a bit. Making sure I have that side stand on something that's going to hold it up. Didn't like what I was looking at there. Oh, somebody's ridden a dirt bike up here. Tiger could come up it, but again, if I'm going to explore something like this, I'm not going to do it on the Tiger. No, I don't have a stop sign. They do, but that doesn't help much if somebody blows that stop sign. That's it for today, and I'm not at all worried about the brakes on the Tiger anymore. Hope you enjoyed the ride.